Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV, City Women's Fan TV. Today we're talking about the game between Fiorentina women and Man City women's team in, I think it's a couple of days' time. We're filming this on Tuesday evening, and I'm joined by Tito. It's a good name, Tito. You can say it's Italian, but when you hear your accent, Tito, everybody will know you're not in Italy right now. Where are you?
Yeah, definitely not in Italy. I wish. I'm based in Seattle in the very northwest of the US.
Yeah, but you do have a connection with Italy and Florence, don't you?
I do, yeah. My grandmother is Italian, and Florence was her favorite city. It's where we scattered her ashes. So I feel a little bit of a connection there. And, you know, I've been several times and been into the stadium, watched the games. So, yeah.
It's as good as any fan, as good as any fan. It's great that you can support a club, a team so far away, and actually go and go more than once.
Yeah, I mean, not recently, obviously, but it is pretty great that we've got that. We've got the worldwide community on the website that I run, Viola Nation, and there's people from all over. I mean, even farther than I am, and it is pretty wonderful seeing how it really does the world and into the strangest places, and you get to talk to people you never would think you talk to otherwise.
Is that a violet and a white check shirt there? I'll just check, make sure I get that right. Is that a viola? Well, at least a violet purple shirt.
It is, yeah.
And this was just by accident.
Yeah, I'm going
in today. This purple shirt.
Sure.
Yeah, from a few years back. Yeah, and obviously we're here to talk about the game between the two teams. But might as well start off with just a brief history, because the women's team hasn't been going that long. I think it's been reasonably successful in the time it has been going. But can you tell the viewers a little bit about the women's team?
Sure. They were originally founded as ACF Fiorentina in 1979. And they sort of bounced up and down through the tiers of calcio until 2015, when they were acquired and rebranded by Fiorentina. And they were actually the first women's team in Italy to be associated with a professional men's side, which is, I think, still a point of pride. And since then, they've been one of the best women's teams in Italy. They won the Scudetto in 2017, so they won the league. Yeah. They won the Italian Cup in 2017, 2018, the Super Cup in 2018. So the top flight in Italy for women is an absolute mess. The game is still not professional. The players are still viewed as amateurs legally, which is part of why the league has so much trouble retaining talent long term, and why you see an exodus to other leagues where they get paid more, which, I mean, you can't blame someone for wanting to get paid as a professional athlete, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, this year been a little bit less good, but still good history.
Yeah, good history, definitely. Let's have a quick look at that first leg, or maybe even a detailed look at that first leg. City won it 3-0, and I'll give you a brief review of the game. City got 2 goals in about 4 minutes, and it really was. Everybody was saying this is going to be a real mismatch. City going to steamroller you guys. You guys were not in the game at the back. You were all over the place, and and if City were 4-0 up after 10 minutes, I don't think anybody could have really complained. But then you guys held it together. You got yourselves back into the game. You had a really good chance with Thorgerson. Was it Thorgerson? And she ran from about the halfway line all the way to the inside the box, and then she put it wide. Your goalie, Katia Schroffenegger.
Schroffenegger, yeah. Good Italian name.
She had some good saves, and it looked like it was going to finish 2-0, and at least the tie would be alive. And you never would have thought that after first 5 minutes. And then Sam Lewis got a late header. I think it was 89th minute, sealed the game, and people are thinking probably it sealed the tie. I mean, how did you think that game went for the Viola women?
Obviously not an ideal start. Giving up 2 goals in the first 4 minutes is going to be tough for anyone to come back from, right? But aside from that, I thought after maybe the first, 10 or 15 minutes, they did a really good job of adjusting and tightening up. I mean, obviously, City are one of the, I would say, three best women's club teams in Europe,
Okay.
and Fiorentina are not that. Like, let's who are we kidding, right? It's not even a professional league. So the fact that they really did tighten up there, I think that they were a little bit naive at the end and threw too many numbers forward, trying to get that away goal to make it a really interesting tie. But also realistically, I mean, what did we think was going to happen here, right? This is, I mean, these are just two completely different organizations in terms of resources and talent. And I think that Fiorentina knows that. I mean, look at what they did last year. They went up against Arsenal and lost, I think, 4-0 in both legs. So
Yeah.
to me, this was a huge improvement. They looked competent, at least, especially given their current circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big thing. I would suggest even getting this far in the competition with all the issues you talked about, the lack of professionalism, the lack of talent because of the people leaving, and the lack of resources. You know, City, as an example, in at least a lot of clubs in England, they have, I believe, access to the men's team, and they're all, nearly all, especially in the Super League, I think they're all affiliated or owned by the men's clubs. So they will, some of them will have access to the facilities. I know City do. They have the same goals philosophy. And even though the women's team play in a smaller stadium, they still have access to everything that the fitness and the medical staff that the men's team do. And I think a lot of other, the main clubs around Europe and the world would have something similar. So from coming from that standpoint, where you guys probably don't have a lot of that, you'll have some, but not in the same to the same extent of someone like City. Do you think you've actually done pretty well to get this far?
Oh, absolutely. This is the farthest Fiorentina have ever gone in the Champions League, actually. I mean, at this point, anything else is gravy. It would be great to see him get a goal.
Yeah.
I mean, I would lose my mind for sure if that happened while I was watching. But also, they lost. Oh, good Lord. I mean, half of their starters from last year. They're missing probably 4 more of their starters right now. They've had to switch formations in the middle of the season. It's just an absolute mess there right now in a lot of ways. So I think that, anything they can do is great. Honestly, just seeing that they're still playing together, still fighting, even in the face of overwhelming odds, I think is wonderful and makes me feel extremely proud of them. And I couldn't ask for more, I think, as a fan.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, what did you feel then? I mean, that game when Ferguson was going through, because in all reality, I think she should have scored. She should have scored. But how are you feeling? And obviously, it would have made a huge difference to the game.
It would have. I agree that she probably should have scored. She's a veteran player. She's a Danish international. She's been in big games before. Yeah, it would have changed the game. I do think realistically it probably would have spurred City to put a little bit more into it. I think that was also part of why Fiorentina grew into proceedings is, when you've already got a 2-0 lead, you can sort of put it on cruise control a little bit, especially when the other team has shown no real ability to push forward. And especially after Sarabaldi went off injured after that clash with who was it? One of your defenders. I don't remember which one. Sarabaldi.
I can't remember now if it was Lucy Bronze or not. Lucy always gets stuck in. I can't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, it might have been. I can't remember either. Like a goldfish, 8 seconds and it's gone from my memory.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think she was the most dangerous looking player for Fiorentina in the first half. So after she went off and Cleland came on, Lana Cleland, wonderful player, but very different, doesn't have that sort of pace. She's more of a classic number 9, good in the air, hold up player. But without that pace, when you're playing that deep, it's just going to be hard to get forward.
Yeah, ball keeps coming back. I mean, do you think there's any chance for you? I mean, at 2-0, I could see there's still a remote chance, because anything can happen at 2-0. You know, someone can get sent off after 10 minutes for a foul in the box, penalty. It's now you score it, it's 2-1. City play with 10 players for 85 minutes or whatever. There's a chance, but realistically, can you see, is there any way back?
I don't think so, honestly. I mean, you know, as a Fiorentina fan, you're used to looking at impossibilities and sort of acknowledging them at this point. I think maybe if they had their full squad, but with so many injuries and so many really good players having left over the summer and then in January as well. The coach Antonio Cincotta was talking about how he can barely field a squad for their last league game. They've got most of their bench as teenagers now pulled up from the youth teams because everyone is hurt or gone. So they're going to go. I mean, I don't doubt that the players will go out and give it their all and play their hearts out, leave everything out there. But, you know, it's tough to beat a team that can bring Rose Lavelle and Sam Mewis off of the bench, right? That's just a whole different sport.
It's frightening the way City have recruited over last summer with 5. You know, they just didn't get 5 players. They got, you know, Rose Lavelle and Sam Mewis, and they got Chloe Kelly, England international, exciting player, and they got 2 Champions League winners in Alex Greenwood and Lucy Bronze. We lost a couple of players, but we got these 5 players. And then if that wasn't enough, we went out and got Abby Dalkemper as well. So, you know, it's a crazy situation. And I think that's the way City want it, 2 top-class players for every position. But Tito, what do you think would be a good result? What would be a good result for you guys?
I think that probably a 1-3 would be good. Getting a goal would be a huge moral victory, which I think are the only kind we're looking for right now. So yeah, I think getting a goal would be wonderful. And yeah, just keeping it to 3 or 4. I mean, they're playing with a back 3 now, and only one real center back, Louise Quinn, who you probably remember from her Arsenal time. The 2 players to either side of her, Janelle Cordia and Greta Adami, are both midfielders by trade. I mean, Greta Adami is playing on the left of a back 3 and wearing number 7 to show you how badly they're trying to plug things in and make them work. So everyone's out of position. Everyone's trying to adjust on the fly, and they're doing well. They're working hard. No complaints there. Yeah. And I think as a supporter, you can't ask for anything more than for the players to give it their all, and they certainly are. Yeah. But it's just very adverse circumstances.
Well, I hope for you guys you get a goal. 1's enough, because if you get 2, especially early, then you know we'll be panicking as well over here, because obviously City are really going for it on all fronts. We've got the resources, and you know you can tell the playing style and the players and the personnel we've got and the strength and depth. They really want to win the big trophies, and obviously this is a big trophy. But I hope you guys do get that goal at some point, get that at least consolation. And at least we can have this mental picture of Tito running around his lounge, you know, taking his viola shirt off and swinging it around because you guys have scored. That would be a lovely image.
Yeah, I would really like that. I'll if there's any way to do it, I'll send it in to you. But you know, I realistically, it probably won't happen. Just I don't really see any way for Fiorentina to score here, because they don't have the pace to get out of their own half really effectively right now. So it is what it is.
We'll see what happens. We always say you never know. It's 11v11. You never know what's going to happen. And you know, maybe a good start from you guys. At least it'll keep the tie respectable, and maybe a little bit of a competitive element to it. If you score an early goal, you know, it's a bit of pressure for City, and they'll have to hold firm. So it'll give you guys confidence, and sometimes confidence is a wonderful thing.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If an early goal turns up, I won't be very upset. But I think the focus will probably be more on not letting City in the first 2 minutes this time around. I think that would also be just fine with me and with most all the other supporters.
Yeah. I gotta say, massive thanks, Tito, for coming on and doing this preview with me. Let's hope each team gets what they want out of this game. You get your goal. City get hopefully an easy, straightforward passage into the next round. And at least, as I said, we'll have this image of Tito running around with his shirt over his head or something. Thanks so much for coming on, Tito.
That'd be great. Oh, thanks for having me, Ray. It was a pleasure.